Hello, you're welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Yemisi Adedeji, and today I will be talking to you about how we as immigrants can support our children in the UK education system. This is a topic that is very close to my heart because, like we all know, children are the leaders of tomorrow, and as immigrants, it's a lot of effort to just come into the country and start understanding how the system works. And then your children are very important and are very vital to your journey in the United Kingdom. So it's very important to know how we can support them. And I pray that you or myself will not lose our children to, either the social service or the world in the United Kingdom. On this channel, we talk about faith, life in the UK, and every month we share personal journeys of immigrants in the UK and around the world about their journey as immigrants. On our video series called Immigrant, Voices and Victories. So do well to check out our personal journeys, as I know that it will inspire you to make your next big decision or whatever at all you are up to. These videos can definitely inspire you. So, the education system in the UK is, something that we've talked about. Go and check out our video on the education system in the UK. It will give you an overview of the entire system. But in this video, we're going to be going through just some tips for each step all the way. So let's start with the early years. Before children even start school at all, there are so many options for kids in the UK. In the early years in the UK, the entire focus of the early years is to help your child to learn through play. So from when your child moves from nursery, childminder, up until reception, all they are doing is learning through play. So check out our videos on childcare options in the UK, and that will give you information about the options that are available to you in the UK. The term after your child is 3 years old, they are able to get 15 hours for free. This is government funded, and so your child will be eligible to go to either say a nursery or a preschool setting for 15 hours every week. In some counties, so many people have testified that some counties, they are able to get them 30 hours. And this might not be counted as public fund because some counties might have enough funding and they can support your child. So please do well to ask, if these are options that are available to you. Also, depending on your household income, you might be eligible for 15 hours for your children from when, say, they are 2 years old. And that is one option you might want to check. So once your child starts school, they start, transitioning into primary school. From reception into year one, it's all early years, just that learning through play. I know most of us, who come from Africa, we're always proud that, by nursery one, your child is writing A to Z already, 1 to 100 and all of that. There is nothing like that here. There's no pressure on any child, to learn A to Z or 1 to 100 in the early years. It is just about helping your children to improve their motor skills, their speaking, and all of that. At the end of reception, there is a baseline assessment. This is just, to check the progress of your child. By year 2, there's supposed to be a key stage assessment, but that is now non-statutory. So most schools now can decide whether they want to, assess children or not, because it's no longer a statutory exams. There is a key stage 2 exams, and that is fully assessed. So you want to support your child. You want to know how they are learning. You want to know what their interests are. You want to be able to talk to your child. Something else, that we have done, which, have helped our children is Kumon. You can start Kumon at the age of 4. So with Kumon, you can have a Kumon center where your child can attend anytime, and then they have, like assignments that they can do every other day. This is not, a paid advert for Kumon or whatever, but we've seen, that it's helped our children, and also quite a number of our friends have also, done Kumon as well. It's helped, both our daughters learning in terms of English, in terms of spelling, and also it also helps our arithmetic. So, as much as you're busy doing, shift here and there, try to find how you can support your child. Have a routine. If you have a routine in place, if your child has a routine in place, then it will be easier, for your child to do as many things as they can, even when you're not there. And this will lead to how they can be independent, like how they can be on their own without your help. Children are very, very interesting, and so you have to engage them. They talk a lot at school. They say everything that happened at home. So whatever example you are setting at home, it will be seen outside the home. So you have to really be able to engage your children and tell them what you want them to know. Because if you don't, they are going to be told. So in primary school, they are going to be taught different things. There's this subject where they teach them about sex and all of that, in school. Tell them everything they need to know. I remember the first time they taught our daughter the difference between a boy and a girl. And wow, we had a lot of conversation. So, you want to be able to start talking to your child about all of this, introducing them to everything you want them to know before they are told. So nothing comes to them strange. In the primary school, this is when, your child just want to talk, they want to play. There's no pressure. Unlike back home, you're writing exams at the end of primary 1, at the end of primary 2, your exams will determine, if you go to the next class or not. There's nothing like that here. Things are being introduced to children gradually, and as they move from, one class to the other, they start exposing them to maths, exposing them to science, exposing them to arts and all of that. And gradually children are expected to find, their own interest in whatever they are learning. Transitioning from primary school into secondary school is another big one. One key tip is you need to be able to research school. What school would you like your child to go? If you want your child to attend a grammar school, they will have to write the grammar school exams, which is called the 11+ exams, and that preparation needs to start from year 4 into year 5, and then finally they get to write the exams. The grammar school is always an advantage if you have it in your area because they are very, very good. If you have money and you can afford private schools, which are called independent schools in the UK, why not? The independent schools are very good. There are lots of people that go to independent school and they have their own advantages because you pay for the service and your child is well looked after. So secondary school, is another big place. Children are becoming teenagers. They are discovering who they are. They need some time to be able to have some discussions with you, and you need to be available for it. Growing up back in Africa, we are not always allowed to speak. Not that we're not allowed to speak, but, we easily get shut down. You can express yourself to your parents if you want to. You are really afraid to say anything. You want to make sure you are saying the right thing at the right time before you be given an automatic reset. Or in this country, you have to give your children that opportunity to be able to speak to you, you need to know what is going on in their life 24/7. You need to make yourself available and accessible to them. So with the secondary school, you have to help your children, support your children to make the right choices for their subjects. After you decide what school your children want to go to, try to visit these schools and ask around, about the school. If you are, able to get Christian schools, good and fine. Catholic schools, wonderful. But if you're not, make sure at least you can get your child into an outstanding or a good school. Check out our video on secondary school education in the UK. That will, give you more information about the secondary schools. So after your child gets into the secondary school, they will have to make the decision of what subject they are going to be studying for their GCSE. This is a very, very important decision, and you need to support your child to make this decision, because whatever subject they choose is what they will be writing at the GCSE level. So with secondary school, you need to help your child, support them to start forming learning habits. When they form learning habits, then you can also help them with their, study routine. Know when they need help. Know when they are not doing well in different subjects. And if you have to, push yourself a bit to get them an extra support of a tutor, then you might want to consider that at some point. So don't forget emotional support as well. This is when they are forming new friendships. So be available for open conversations. Let your children be able to come to you to have conversations with no restrictions at all. Because if you don't talk to them, they will talk to someone else. And this country, it just seems like, quote and unquote, the children have the final say. It's a proper reality check. You need to know that as an immigrant. Once they start saying things they are not happy about and all of that, you're going to have a social worker visit. You want to avoid all of that as much as possible. So ensure that you are your children's best friend. You are the first person they want to talk to about everything. The transition, between secondary school and A-levels is very, very important, because whatever grades your children get at the GCSE level would determine the subject they will be offering at A-levels. So with A-levels, you need to sit down and know the university requirements. What are the university requirements? The university requirements would determine the subject your child would be offering at A-levels. From my study and, experience in supporting different immigrant families, most schools will have a grade that they will accept for their A-levels. So if you don't have the grades at your GCSE level, you will not be able to do that subject at A-levels. So it's very, 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 very important for your child to be able to get the grades that they require for their A-levels, which will, lead to the subjects that they require for their university. So it's quite a very interesting process. I never really understood it, like where we come from. I am from, Nigeria, and what we do is, you do something called JAM, and then after your JAM, you use your JAM to get admission into the university. In the UK, no. After GCSE, then they do A-levels. Then they can start university. My advice for, those of you that are parents that are coming in as immigrants, do your best to strategize when your child would move to the UK. I know sometimes, financial restraints and all that, some of us are not able to come with our children when we move, but try your best possible to be strategic about the move, so that at least your child can move here before GCSE, then they would have been able to spend at least 3 years so that you would have more options available to you. If your child have not spent up to 3 years in this country, they will not be eligible for student loan as immigrants. So you can only get student loan if you're classified as quote and unquote and home students. So for those of us that are immigrants, we can also be eligible for this if our children have been here for at least 3 years. So please, as an immigrant parent, when you want your child to join you in the UK, do your best to be strategic about it. Let them come in good time for them, to meet all of these milestones. This is because, it takes a lot of time even for the child to settle into the UK, to adapt to, the education system, to understand the entire system, to make friends. All of these are very, very important. The interesting thing is every child must be in education until they are 18. So you have to know each stage and what to do at each stage so that you are able to support your child all the way. There are lots of apprenticeship out there. So if your child is not eligible to get, say for example, a student loan to attend a university, then apprenticeship would also be a good option. There are even people that I know that their children are eligible for student loan to, go to the university, but they have chosen the apprenticeship route because it is better for the kind of course their children want to study. The good thing with apprenticeship is you are able to go to school and also work. Wherever you get your apprenticeship, you will be sponsored to go to school. So it's like, you are going to school on a part-time. And I've seen a lot of immigrant parents explore this option, which is very good. This is always an argument like, no, I don't want to subject my children to student loan, let them go and do apprenticeship and all of that. But whatever decision you want to make, those options are available to your child. So it is all about checking what your child's interest is, what course they would like to study, and which is going to be the best option for them. And this is why, I'm making this video so you are well aware of the options that are available to you. So once your child, finish their GCSE, they get the good grades, and then A levels, you need to make all this plan from, primary to secondary to A levels. These are things that you have to think about as an immigrant. What are the options available to me? What are the things that my children can benefit? Use it to your advantage. That's my, that's my slogan. If your children come in, and they're eligible for student loan, use it to your advantage. If it's apprenticeship, use it to your advantage. Whatever you do, give your children the best education ever. It's so easy as immigrants to come to this country and, all we want to do is work. Yes, we would work, but please be able to support your children in all of these milestones. Some people have just made up their mind that, once you finish that A levels, go and get a job and start working and earning for yourself. But please allow your children to enjoy the education system in the UK. Make up your mind that your children will enjoy the education system in the UK. Just like most of us, when we were back in our home country, our parents did their best, to give us the best education. Some of us went to private school, some of us went to public schools, just to give us the best. Some of our parents sacrificed a lot just to make sure we got the best education. So when your child comes to the UK, although this is a, freelance country where, children get to decide what they want to do, just make sure that you support your child all the way. Don't put your children under pressure, but let them know the importance of education. Let your children know that they can't give anything less than the best. They are going to be told, oh, it's okay if you don't understand. No, it's not okay. As an immigrant, you have to encourage your children, because they will be told, oh, no, it's okay, it's fine if you don't understand. No, it is not fine. Make sure that your child can give their best. I remember talking to a friend, a few days ago, and he said something that really struck me. This is a friend that made first class and, is doing very well in the UK. But he said something very crucial to me. He said, Yemisi, life is not easy. Nothing is easy. You just have to put in some work. So it means you just have to put in extra work. Also, stay engaged with school activities. I am guilty myself. I've literally learned, to put things in my calendar, or else I'll forget. Once the school year starts, especially between primary and secondary, there's loads of things to do. There's loads of activities. There will be some days for, dress up, and there will be some days for that day, this day. You don't want your child to be odd. I have fallen a victim of that, one of those days when, there was something they had to dress to school as, and I literally forgot, to be honest. Thank God for the teacher. They had extras. And yeah, they will always send you that email. It's okay, don't go overboard. Yes, don't go overboard, but if you can afford it, do it. You don't have to, buy expensive things and all of that. But, always put your best foot forward. Engage in the culture. Know what the culture is. Your children will be more British than you as an immigrant parent over time. Learn to embrace the culture. Let your children know what your culture is. And also embrace the culture of the people here in the UK. As immigrants, let your children, connect with people in your own community. Have a circle. Who do you expose your children to? What do you expose your children to? All of these are important because it shapes and makes them. So school events, parent evenings, just put them in your calendar and you will remember everything. We found that, getting to meet the teachers, engaging with other parents have also helped. So don't just go to school, drop your children and run off. I know we're all busy, with work and all that, but, at the gates, try to, talk to one parent or the other. If you are new, try to find out. Most schools, we always have, a parent group. These days, there are parent WhatsApp groups, so engage with other parents and know what is happening. Being bilingual is a gift. So, encourage your children to speak your dialect. If English is not your first language, do well to try your best possible to improve your own English so that you're able to communicate with teachers. Even me as an immigrant, I still struggle with, when I say things, people are like, what do you mean? I have to re-explain myself. I remember most of us will know where, Derby is. And I was trying to tell somebody, oh, I went to Derby. Derby, what is Derby? The person was looking at me like, what do you mean Derby? Oh, do you mean Derby? I was like, yeah, Derby is the name of a person. Derby is the name of a place. And your children will correct you. So my children don't only correct me, colleagues correct me. Anybody I meet, once I say my own, you don't understand, I will explain, and then over time we understand each other and we rub off on each other. So I know this video is just, a bit of information from early years to primary school, to secondary school, to A levels, and then to university. Everything you want is available to you. But what do you want? You can check our videos on childcare option, primary school education, secondary school education, and then the UK education. We have videos on all of this, but I just thought to bring it all together in one video, because I realized that some of us parents might just be coming in, and these are all very crucial steps in our children's life. To sum it all up, the UK education system can be a lot to navigate as an immigrant. But we as parents have the opportunity to guide our children through this growth, from the early years to primary, to secondary, to A levels, and then finally to university, or for those going for the vocational options, or apprenticeship, and all of that. And we as immigrants have the unique opportunity to guide our children through, both academic and the cultural challenges. Every step is an opportunity for growth for both us and our children. But remember to lean on God through this process. Seek help when you need it. If your child is struggling academically, get help. If you are struggling as a parent, talk to somebody. Lean on God through this process. If you are a parent out there that, you have a child with special needs as well, make sure to seek help. There are lots of support in the community, and you can always get help. The likes of Save the Woman, Mr. Olalikon leads that team. They support, people that have issues with, social services and all of that. And I've seen Save the Woman support a lot of immigrant families. So please go and check Save the Woman. They are on YouTube. They are everywhere on social media. And I cannot overemphasize the work that Mr. Olalikon and his team do. A very big thank you to you, sir, for supporting immigrants out there. You don't need to have problem with social services before you need Mr. Olalikon. So please go and find Save the Woman, watch their videos. They also have courses for parenting. Parenting in the UK is different, very, very different from what some of us know from back home, wherever home is for you. Home for me, is Nigeria. And growing up, I know, how I was trained, and that will not work here, unfortunately. I know Reverend Areogun, my wonderful pastor, always say that if you want to go abroad, you need to know the way abroad, because there are things that will work in Nigeria that will not work in abroad. And it's true. And that is why, so many immigrants are getting into issues with social services and all of that, because there are things that you are not allowed to do. So please, there's so many stories out there. There are so many testimonies out there that we all can learn from. And don't forget, trust God through the process. Lean on God, because He can come through for you. There is a God factor in all of this, and that is one thing that I, as a person, don't take for granted. Pray with your children. Pray for them. Let them know the God that you serve, so that they can know God for themselves. When your children know God for themselves, they will have a different experience. You won't be forcing them. You won't be forcing them. So introduce them to God as you support your children through the academics and everything. Also, make sure that you introduce your God to them and let them know God for themselves and experience Him. When they do, it will be easy. we've got a young family ourselves, and these are processes that, we're trusting God for. And everything I've shared in this video, is based on my experience with different immigrants and research. So thank you so much. I'm hoping that this video has been helpful to you as we all support our children as immigrants in the United Kingdom. So please like our videos, share our videos, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless you. No limits.